For Shakespeare's England, one of the most powerful positions in the country was the role known as the Master of the Revels. Given a patent by the crown, the person holding this office was in charge of theaters, both public and private. They could literally decide what was going to be performed or not. So, what exactly did it take to become a Master of the Revels? That's what we're going to find out right now on That Shakespeare Life. The Masters of the Revels was appointed by the crown, and they held complete control over the theater industry in Shakespeare's England. They could decide how much the things were going to cost that you needed to use to put plays on in performance in the first place. They also could decide whether or not your play was going to be allowed to be performed, and they even went line by line through your script and plans and said, this was good, no, take that out, do this differently. They were working directly with the playwrights whenever a play was called upon and had complete control over what got to be decided or not. With this much power and prestige, politics definitely played a role in them being appointed. And it begs the question, what did it actually take to hold this position? How did somebody become a Master of the Revels? In order to find out, I sat down with theater historian and Shakespeare expert Dr. William Streitberger, author of the book The Masters of the Revels and Elizabeth I's Court Theater. Here's what he had to say.
Talent and personal accomplishments in this period were not enough to obtain a court position. I mean, they were talented, they were accomplished. In the gift exchange economy that dominated the Elizabethan court. So from this point of view, revels, they're entertainments, of course, but they're much more than that as well. They're important in reinforcing the social hierarchy. They're demonstrations of the Queen's generosity and wealth, which are important to display in a gift exchange economy. Both of these men were connected to the Howard family. Tilney, for example, was the grandnephew of the Dowager Duchess of Norfolk, who was related to the Queen as well. His patron was Charles Howard, who was the Lord Admiral who defeated the Spanish Armada in 1588. And he was, of course, a member of the Queen's Privy Council as well. So he had pretty powerful sort of backing higher up in government. Tilney came from the right family. He had the right patron. He had the right qualifications for the job.
If you'd like to know more about not only the role of the Master of the Revels, but also about Edward Tilney, who was the reigning Master of the Revels for most of Shakespeare's career, you can listen to our entire conversation with Dr. Streitberger on our podcast. Now, this is a little bit of a snippet that's coming out before the podcast actually launches. This podcast won't be available until November of 2026. So if you're watching this after November of 2026, you can listen at our podcast page. This will be at CassidyCash.com/episode 450. That's episode 450 to hear the entire conversation. Have no fear, though. If you're listening before November, don't worry. There's still a way to explore this history further right away. I have two excellent book recommendations that I'm going to point you towards if you are excited to dive right in and learn more about the Master of the Revels. The first is, of course, the book by Dr. William Streitberger. His book is called The Master of the Revels and Elizabeth I's Court Theater. This book is exciting not only because it goes in depth in looking at the Master of the Revels role, but it explores the impact of that role on commercial theater, like the Globe. And it includes biographies of specific people who held the position, like Edward Tilney, who was the Master of the Revels for most of Shakespeare's career. So that would be the first stop on your book tour. Secondly, I want to point you towards a book called Mastering of the Revels. This is by Dr. Richard Dutton, who is also a guest on That Shakespeare Life. And his book looks closely at the censorship of the period. It takes a look at who was censored, why they were censored, and the politics of the Master of the Revels office. It also asks the question of what the role the Master of the Revels played in the success of playwrights like Shakespeare. And not only Shakespeare, but it also looks at his contemporaries, including Lyly, Massinger, Marlowe, Johnson, and others. So if you want to get real in depth with who got in trouble and who didn't, Dr. Dutton's book is a good place to start too. So both of these together will give you an excellent look at this role and let you explore more history while you wait on our podcast to come out. And don't forget to subscribe at CassidyCash.com so you'll be notified when our entire conversation with both of these experts is live, and you can listen to them on the show. If you like walking around in turn of the 17th century England to see the sights, smell the smells, play the games, and maybe even haunt an old theater or two, then this is the place for you. Hit that notification bell so you can be sure to join us on our next adventure. I'll see you in the next episode.